Amazing. All right. So welcome to today's open house. I see that we do have a couple of people coming in live, which is great. And I know that there is a number of people that have registered for the replay. So I'll be sending this out as well to everyone that has registered straight after. I do have one of my clients, Kelly, here as well, who's going to have a chat through her experience working with me in the program as well. So essentially how today is going to work is I'm going to go through a short presentation. I'm going to talk through what the program is, the 3 steps that we go through in the program, the inclusions and how it really works. And then I also do have a bonus for everyone as well if you do decide to move forward with the program. I'm also going to show you a little bit behind the scenes of what it actually looks like to be inside the program, what our online portal looks like and everything like that. So today you are absolutely in the right place. If you are motivated to get relief from your IBS and you want to learn about the methods I use inside the IBS Accelerator, you really want clarity on whether the program is going to be a good fit for yourself or not. You want to meet myself, ask any questions that you've got about the program, and you want to hear some of my clients' experiences and chat with them as well. And you're essentially ready to take action and get relief from your IBS in the next 3 to 6 months. Oh, sorry, exited. I'm just letting some other people come in as we get started. All right. Hello. And then Maddie's just came in as well. All right. Hey, Maddie. Cool. So what I was just saying for those that just came in is today I'm going to do a presentation. I'm going to take you through exactly what is included in the program, and then I'm going to open it up for any questions you have as well. So if you would like, you're welcome to have your cameras on or have your cameras off, completely up to you. I do ask that if you can just mute yourself, particularly while others are speaking, and then you can always unmute at the end and we can ask questions like that. You are welcome to use the chat box as well, so drop any questions you've got in there. If you do have someone that supports you with your IBS, so if you do have a partner or a family member or someone at home, they're very welcome to come along to this chat. And everything is recorded. So I'm going to send out the replay afterwards. I think we'll go for about 30 minutes today, give or take how much we kind of talk at the end. So what today is going to look like is essentially I'm going to do a quick introduction of myself and my IBS story. We're going to talk through what is the IBS Accelerator, what's included, what are the goals of the program, a behind the scenes of the IBS Accelerator portal. You're going to meet one of my clients, Kelly. Bronte was coming along as well, but she unfortunately had to cancel for a funeral. So we're going to, you'll meet Kelly and she can share her journey as well. And then we're going to do a Q&A. So if you do have any questions for myself, then we can go through them at the end as well. So if you are new to my Instagram or my email list, my name is Crystal. I'm a dietitian that specializes in IBS. I am Monash trained in the low FODMAP diet. I've been working as a dietitian now for about 8 years and specialized in IBS in the last 4 years. I'm based on the Gold Coast in Australia, but I do work with people all over the world, particularly Australia, New Zealand, the US, and Canada and the UK. I personally do have IBS, and I have had IBS since I was about the age of 15, 16, and I struggled with it for a very long time before I actually finally got relief. I had a lot of trouble, particularly I have IBS-C, so this came along with a lot of abdominal pain, constipation, bloating, gas, discomfort. I used to really struggle to wear clothes, anything jeans, high-waisted, tight clothes. And I went through a long journey to find relief. I saw doctors a number of times and always felt very dismissed. Because I was young female, like I was kind of just passed off as like, you're stressed or eat more fruit or kind of like just told to just move on. It wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I then I graduated as a dietitian and I was able to put myself through the low FODMAP diet and as well as a number of other strategies, which we'll talk through today, that I'm now where I am now, which essentially is I have no daily symptoms. I have complete trust in my bowel movements. I no longer have unpredictable days. I no longer avoid any foods in my diet, and I feel quite comfortable eating regularly. So I used to skip meals and be quite fearful of food, but I now have complete confidence in all of that. I do a lot of traveling. I spend a lot of time with friends and family and just have a lot more flexibility in my life than I used to be able to because my IBS used to have quite a good control over me. So one thing that I definitely discovered through my own journey and through my journey as a dietitian and now specializing in IBS is one of the biggest mistakes I think a lot of people make is focusing so much on just food restriction or cutting out foods as the sole solution for IBS. I really think that for the majority of people, there is huge benefit in addressing symptoms from different angles. So we want to work with your body's natural digestion. We do want to look at your diet, what we can add to your diet, as well as if you do have specific food triggers. And then also looking at lifestyle support and things like the stress response, your sleep, your exercise, and how we can do small changes in these areas. So it's not about, overhauling everything completely possible, but small changes in a really step-by-step fashion that help you to get relief and understand your triggers. Essentially, this is how the IBS Accelerator program was born. It was designed to meet a gap in the market where I think there was a lot of focus on people just kind of cutting out foods or not getting the support that they needed to really get relief from their symptoms. I use a combination of strategies to address your symptoms from different angles, which is where we can really unlock that long-term place of IBS freedom. So it's not just about getting, quick relief or, doing anything short-term. It's really about how can you manage this long-term and how do we fix things kind of at the root of what's going on so that you can have that control back in your life. So today I'm going to give you a quick overview of these 3 steps. Basically, this is a big part of what we cover inside the program. So step number 1 is really optimizing your body's natural digestion pathways. So what I mean by this is we look at the foundations of your diet and your lifestyle and how we can make small changes here to really work with your digestion. So your body has its digestive system. It is set up to help you digest food, extract nutrients, create a good bowel movement. And a lot of the time there is something wrong in that pathway. It's not really functioning correctly. And all the habits that we develop, especially in response to symptoms like skipping meals, feeling stressed, not eating enough or not eating the right foods, this can really impact how your digestion actually works. So in step 1, we look at the foundations of your meal routines, helping you to eat regularly, eat enough and balanced meals, looking at how you eat and actually supporting your digestion through the fundamentals like chewing properly. Personal supplementation. So we may use different fiber supplements or different things like magnesium or osmotic laxatives to actually help your bowels to work again. Either direction. So if you struggle with more diarrhea, more constipation, we use different supplements based on your symptoms. We look at the role of the pelvic floor. So I do have inside the portal, we do have topics, a pelvic floor physical therapist who does some education in there around toileting regime, toileting behaviors. And then we look at things like fiber and hydration as well.
So I'm Gabby. I live in Sydney. I probably had about 3 or 4 years of really struggling with...
Sorry. Can you hear that coming through? Yeah, cool. So this is a client, Gabby, who came through the program recently, and she's sharing her experience really about this step 1. So, how working on these foundations actually was the biggest puzzle piece for her and how that helped with the most symptom relief.
IBS symptoms before coming across yourself, Crystal, and just really struggling with daily gas and discomfort and bloating, and it was probably at the time that I met you that it was just really getting me down. It's just been incredible, the actual changes that have occurred, even simple, that seem very simple strategies that I would never have thought of. And certainly that first part of the program was so foundational and helpful to kind of get those habits in place. And I probably didn't expect the wide variety that was going to be in the program. I sort of thought it would be very much about food-oriented strategies only. And when I started doing the program, realized how helpful the additional aspects of that was to consider. Now I feel like I just have a really calm morning and or evening bowel motion that's really just normally formed, and I just feel confident and calm in the process. And I know that with doing those sort of calm routines that I'm going to just have a good day. And it is just unbelievable the changes in those fundamental things. And then knowing what foods to eat or to, avoid, and even how much food to avoid of a certain FODMAP group has just been so enabling. Like I would just avoid every fruit unless it was an orange because I just felt only safe with oranges. It was a really sad 2 years where I wasn't eating it, and now I feel like I can, and it's just really nice. Oh, look, I would just say there's just nothing to lose from it. I feel like it's also been great being on a group program because I've been able to know that everyone's journey is actually quite different. All of your advice has been so amazing in terms of really tailoring to that individual and what they're going through. And I feel like there'd just be nothing to lose when you have such a breadth of knowledge and expertise on this area. And I feel like the everyday person Googling just doesn't. And I just think it's been the absolute best money I've spent to actually regain my general health and physical and mental health. I think jump in 2 feet.
So that was Gabby. Gabby came into the program with mixed IBS, so constipation and diarrhea, bloating, gas and pain. And like she mentioned there, this step 1, I think a lot of people kind of skip over. It seems like simple strategies and like the basics, but I think that when we do them right and make them feel more natural in your routine, they can make a really huge difference. Second step inside the program is we're going into understanding, do you have specific food triggers, and actually a focus on adding foods back to your diet as well. A really common mistake I see a lot of people making is avoiding foods that they don't need to, cutting out foods they don't need to. And this is where we really want to understand, okay, do you have food triggers? What are those food triggers? And what is the threshold of those as well? So can you have a small amount, a moderate amount, a large amount? Now, for the majority of people, this is going to be through the low FODMAP diet. The low FODMAP diet is the most researched diet we have for IBS, and it's shown to help up to about 80% of people with IBS improve their symptoms. The majority of people I see have tried the low FODMAP diet in the past and maybe not got the results that they were hoping for. Or they've kind of like played around with it and not gone through the process properly. Some really common mistakes I think people make doing this is they either go too restrictive with their diet, they cut too many foods out, they get stuck in that elimination phase for a long time, or you're following outdated information. For example, if your doctor has given you a list of foods to eat, or if you just kind of Googled it, like often these are really outdated and they need to be updated. The low FODMAP diet itself is a 3-phase diet. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this, but overall, this is the process of what it looks like. That initial elimination is between 2 to 6 weeks on average. We then do some really structured food challenges, and then we expand the variety in your diet by adding all of the foods back in. One of the ways that I like to do this is focusing on what we can add to the diet. Yes, we reduce and we're cutting foods out, but also that focus on what we can add. This is an example from one of my client resources where we're looking at, so the foods on the left-hand side are all low FODMAP, and the foods on the right-hand side are all high FODMAP. So here we're looking at, really filling your diet with the foods on the left-hand side as much as possible and just limiting the ones on the right-hand side during that initial elimination. Again, we go into this in a lot more detail, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. With the going through the food challenges, one of the biggest results I see is people getting a lot of surprises. So they come into the program, they're like, oh my God, I cannot eat wheat, I cannot eat garlic or onion or mango or whatever the food might be. And then we go through this process with laying the foundations correctly first, and then going through the structured food challenges. And there's often so many wins in here that they're like, oh, okay, so I never even had to avoid that in the first place. So for example, I had Monique, who had avoided onion for 10 years. And then when she did the onion challenge, she found that there was pretty much no problems. Other people like Jillian and Caitlin did the same with wheat and gluten, and Kelsey did similar with onion as well. So after we identify food triggers, or at the same time, we're also looking at how do we support your body outside of elimination diets. So what else can we do to support your body? Like I mentioned at the start, IBS is this multifactorial, full body condition, which means that things like stress and anxiety, exercise, sleep, hormones can all play a role. This is not to sound too overwhelming, because I know that this can sound a little bit overwhelming because we don't want to try and have to change everything in your life, but it's more about over the time, how do we layer in different strategies to support yourself from different angles, especially that stress and anxiety piece I think can be really important. Not when your body gets stuck in the fight and flight mode is when often symptoms are going to increase. So we want to work on how do we get your body out of fight and flight mode? How do we stop your body responding to stress with symptoms? And how do we just incorporate things like joy and exercise and sleep into your routine to support your job, to support your body? Inside the program, we do have a team of experts from live trainings in there. So there is Grace, who's a mental health therapist, who's done an amazing module inside of the nervous system. We do have some bonus trainings in there from Gabby, who's a gut health expert, Laura, who's a pelvic floor physical therapist, and then there's some extra trainings in there around body image and endometriosis as well. As an extra bonus for those that do join the program, you'll also get access to Nerva. So if you haven't heard of Nerva, this is an app developed by a group of psychologists. This is specifically for people with IBS to reduce their symptoms. What they have found very similar research to the low FODMAP diet, in that about 80% of people that go through this app see a clinical improvement in symptoms as well. For most people, I find that Nerva is not a solution on its own, but a really great supporting kind of strategy that we just work through in the background. It just helps to calm things down, also helps to calm down anxiety-related symptoms as well. So I have now worked with over 250 people across the world to help them with their symptoms, going through a very similar framework to this, saying that it is also 100% personalized to you throughout the entire journey. I'm there every single week to help you, stay on track, answer your questions, adapt it to meet you. There may be some of this that we don't do at all. There may be other things that we do outside of this. It's more of a general framework that we do follow. So when you do join the program, essentially the IBS Accelerator is a 6-month program. We start with an initial one-to-one consultation. This goes for an hour. That's with myself, so I can really get to know you, create your personal plan to getting started. After that, we then have weekly small group coaching calls. So these are really your opportunity for support, accountability, ask questions, and we're always just making sure that you're always staying on track. So ideally, I think that especially through the early stages of the journey, it can be really helpful to have weekly or every 2-week check-ins to ensure that you're always staying on track. It's not like when you go and see, a doctor and you have to wait 3 months to get into another appointment. It's really like, how do we make sure things are improving in real time? You also get access to the IBS Accelerator online portal. So this has step-by-step video lessons and all the resources you need. I'll give you a little tour of that in a second, and our private Facebook community as well. So with our small group calls, these are held at 2 times per week. This is, they're based on different time zones. So we do have times that suit all the countries, Australia, New Zealand, US, Canada, the UK as well. The call times, the calls are all recorded as well. So basically, if you can't come one week, you can do a check-in form and I can still make sure all your questions are answered.
I definitely find it.
This is a client of mine, Grace, who she actually joined from Canada, but she's Irish as well. She just is sharing her experience inside the group. I know that most people kind of enter the group environment a little bit nervous, but then come to find that it can be, it can be nice to have that community around you and that support after. Because IBS can feel a little bit lonely, you get to hear other people's experiences and also get tips from everyone as well.
A little daunting at my first one, knowing that you have to be so vulnerable and honest, but like you created such a safe space from the first one that I never felt like I needed to hold back. And then what I also realized was it's a lovely community. It's so nice to see when someone else is doing really well and kind of encouraging other people. And then also if someone's having a bad week, if you are as well, that that's okay too. So I did feel a real sense of community and camaraderie and that we're all in it together. I also find that I got as much time as I needed with you on those calls, even though it was a group setting. I felt like it wasn't like there is X amount of minutes per person, and even if you're still speaking, you move on. I always felt like I got everything out that I needed to on those calls, and I got everything back from you as well. So yeah, I went in there a little hesitant, but I honestly, it wouldn't have made a difference to my experience if it was individual or there was a couple of us on it.
We also have a private Facebook community. So this is really for question support in between calls, especially around label reading. So if you are on the low FODMAP diet, you can post pictures in here with recipes, with ingredients lists. And I'm there to, every single day I'm in there answering questions. If you're going out to a restaurant on the weekends, you can post a picture of the menu and ask, what you can order off the menu. There's recipes and there's other things like that as well. All right, I would love to introduce Kelly. So Kelly is a client of mine who's actually just graduated the program, and she has graciously accepted an invitation to come along today and share a bit about her story. So I'm going to pass it over to Kelly, and she's going to chat through her journey with IBS and experiencing the program as well. Kelly, take it away.
Hi, as Crystal said, my name is Kelly. So I just was going to talk about my experience from the beginning through the program till now. In the beginning, this is actually like a year ago. I was having loose stools, diarrhea. I'm starting to get a dull pain in my lower abdomen, and then I was also experiencing more gas and bloating, which like before in the past, prior to these symptoms, I had never really had problems with that. So I was having trouble narrowing down what my triggers were with food. I wasn't sure like if it was something I was eating, exactly what would be triggering it. I was trying to eat really bland. I was trying to eat more gluten-free. I'm also just like a small person, and having like the diarrhea made me nervous about losing weight. Being restricted with my diet also made me nervous about losing weight. And I had been following Crystal on Instagram and finally just decided like I'm gonna do this. Like I need help. Like I don't think I can do this on my own. It was like the other thing with it that kind of made me take that leap of faith was it socially was affecting me. Eating and drinking is such a social thing, and I was afraid like to go have a boozy brunch or something like that because I didn't want to suffer the consequences of it later. And I just, like I needed that social outlet, and so I really just wanted to get on track, and I decided to take Crystal's program. And I think what impressed me like the most about her program is just all of her attention to detail. Like it is impeccable. Seriously, she gives grocery lists that are so detailed and like pictures of every item, so you know what you're looking for in the store. She showed you the list of like low FODMAP, high FODMAP foods to look out for. It's just crazy, the attention to detail. It's amazing. And so that was really helpful. The training modules, she has tons of training modules, tons of downloadable resources, like I said, the shopping list. She has a recipe ebook that you can look when you're going low FODMAP. It makes it much easier to find recipes to make. In the group calls, she's really good at listening and she's good at problem solving. And I also just like that she has a very calm demeanor about her because with IBS, it is stressful and at times and you can get really, frustrated if you're in a flare. And I just feel like through this process, she's helped keep me calm. So I think, some of my biggest takeaways with this are that everybody's journey is different. So you can't be like comparing yourself. Oh, this girl, this guy, they had these results and I didn't. Everybody has a different journey with it. And I think you just need to be patient and you need to just trust the process. Also, I tend to be a perfectionist. And so another big takeaway for me was just focusing on progress over perfection. And Crystal does say that. And I'm just like, oh, because I tend to just focus on the perfection. So just being reminded of the little wins every day, and they will continue to build on each other through the process. So I think those were my biggest takeaways. And as Crystal said, I just graduated the program, and now I can say that my symptoms are much more mild. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would rank them like 0 to 2. I hardly ever experience like gas and bad gas or bloating, loose stools like I did previously. And if I do experience them, I now know the steps I need to take to manage my symptoms and get myself back on track. So I feel like I have a good understanding of what my triggers are, and I have less fear of what to eat. I'm back to eating out with my friends. My husband and I, we just took a trip to Mexico last month, and I was nervous about that, but I ended up not having any problems. And it was nice because Crystal was also there. If I needed to reach out, I knew I could reach out to her. So it's like, I feel like I have my confidence back when it comes to eating and managing my symptoms. And I feel like the program has been extremely helpful to me.
Amazing. Thank you, Kelly. I was getting a bit emotional. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you, Kelly. I do appreciate it. Might just open it up now. I don't know the people that are here, Maddie, Laura, Christina, do you guys have any questions for Kelly if you wanted to chat through it, or I can come back to it at the end as well? No. That's okay. I know it's a little bit nerve-wracking. All right, I'm just going to continue. We just have a little bit more to get through, and then I will open it up for any questions as well. So let me just go back to here. So like Kelly was mentioning, we do have an educational portal. So this is essentially step-by-step video lessons and the why behind everything, which I'll give you a little insight into now as well. So inside the online portal, I've designed this to be all of the most important information you need, but in short video lessons. So the majority of them are sort of 5 to 15 minutes long. There's a couple of slightly longer ones from the experts or the guest experts, but the majority are quite short, with the goal of, we make small changes over time that layer onto each other so that you can reach that long-term goal of relief and understanding your triggers and having more food freedom. Inside here, we cover everything in the foundations of digestion, like we spoke about earlier, inside the low FODMAP diet, and in detail of how to actually do the diet correctly so that you have the most flexibility and get the best results out of it. We go into the nervous system. So this is where we have guest expert Grace, who's a psychotherapist, go through how to support your nervous system, how to do different exercises that are going to help overall with symptoms as well. We then go into topics like exercise, sleep, hormones, and how your period impacts IBS, how to do your food challenges, and then there is some extra trainings here. So these are things like body image. I know that a lot of people with IBS, IBS can impact your body image, gut health and endometriosis, as well as managing holidays. Inside each video, we'll go through, for example, one here. Inside, we have a short video lesson that'll take you through what you need to know. And then there's a number of resources here you can download. Inside the downloads, there is things like the recipe ebooks, the shopping guides, the food lists are all there. So for example, this is one of the shopping guides that Kelly was speaking about. So what I've done is go through, very common big grocery stores, particularly, so we have the shopping guides across US, Australia, and New Zealand, where basically you can just go straight in and grab stuff to make it really simple when you're starting the low FODMAP diet. If you're from a different country, then this is why one of the reasons we have the Facebook group as well, so you can post products from your own country and I can help you label read and adapt that to you. We also have people all over the world, so if you have a specific question, there's always people that can help you from there. We also have the recipe ebook as well. So in here, basically pretty straightforward, lots and lots of recipes. To make sure, again, which the goal really is, I want to be able to help you to, yes, get relief from your symptoms, but do it in a way that is the most achievable, sustainable way, and that you're still eating, you know, foods that you enjoy and that you love, and not having too much impact on yourself and your loved ones as well. So that's a little insight into the online portal. We also have our group coaching calls every week. There's a check-in form for that, our Facebook group, kind of everything you need. This is really the hub of the program. Where are we up to? Keep going from here. The bonuses, so I just showed you a couple of those. There's the low FODMAP recipe ebooks, the low FODMAP meal plan bundles, and there's also the Nerva gut hypnotherapy you'll get access to as well. So in terms of the program cost, so the program is a 6-month program with the weekly support, and the full price is usually $2,997 Australian. With the open house, you do get a fast action bonus. So just for coming along today, you're going to save $500. The code for checkout is open house, or if you prefer the payment plan, this is open house PP. This will bring down, this is valid until Sunday night. So if you do decide to join, you'll save $500 off the full price of the program, or $100 per month. If you are international and you speak in USD, what this is equivalent to is typically the program is $1,997, but you're going to save about $300 USD. And similar, the payment plan there is $320 US per month over the 6 months. The code is open house or open house PP. So a couple of frequently asked questions I get is, you might be wondering, how much time do we actually need to participate in the program? So on average, I think setting aside 30 to 60 minutes per week to do some of the training videos, participate in the calls, come along, is usually a good goal. Some weeks everything might be moving smoothly and might not come to a call. Other weeks you know, especially at the start, I do recommend definitely coming weekly if you can. And then there's a little bit extra time outside of there, but basically half an hour to 1 hour per week. If you have tried the low FODMAP diet, is the program still suitable for you? Yes, absolutely. So we go into things in a lot more detail than just the low FODMAP diet. If you have done it before and you don't want to do it again, then we just do lots of other strategies around it. If you have kind of tried it before and you want to go through it again properly, then we actually just reset it and go through it properly. But there is lots of strategies that either do or do not include the low FODMAP diet. It's not essential for everyone. Now, if you are worried it won't work for you, I also do have a 90-day money-back guarantee. So I am so confident in this program. I've seen how it transforms lives, and I would love to basically welcome you into the program without you feeling confident. So essentially what this guarantee includes is come along for the first 3 months, and if you do not get any results, then you are able to opt out of the program from there. All you need to do is actually attend and participate. So I do expect you to come to your one-to-one calls, come to some of the group coaching calls, and go through the modules and show that you're actively trying. And if you generally don't see any improvements, then I do have the 90-day money-back guarantee. Some of the results we've spoken about today, but these are some of my other clients that have came through. So Leah is a client of mine who also recently graduated. She's living in Thailand, but she's from France. She came in with diarrhea, pain, and some bloating. And similar to Kelly, the majority of people, where their symptoms land is they end up in that 0 to 1 or 0 to 2 kind of realm at the end, which basically means minimal day-to-day symptoms. Sometimes there's little fluctuations in that, but overall kind of just feeling normal is the end goal. Tracy's a client of mine from the US who, quite similar, came in with IBSD, diarrhea, cramping, and urgency, was able to really drastically drop all of those down to the 0 to 1 as well. Jackie is a client of mine from Australia. She came in with IBS-C, so constipation, pain, and bloating. Very similar, was in that 7 to 8 kind of realm on a consistent basis, or quite frequent, and dropped it down to a 0 to 2. And then Millie is a client of mine from Australia. She had IBS-M, went between constipation and diarrhea and those other symptoms. Very similar, going through this process, we were able to get down the daily baseline to a 0, and then sometimes fluctuations up to the 2 as well. All right, so overall the timeline, what we've spoken about today. So basically where you start is where your symptoms are now. In that first month, we're really working on improving your symptoms as quickly as possible. For some people, that is within the first kind of 2 weeks. For some people, it takes a little bit longer when we're layering in those different strategies, but we do see improvements fairly quickly. We spend month 2 and 3 going into understanding your personal triggers and looking at lifestyle changes. This will then translate into month 4 as well. And then by the end of the program, which over the 6 months, the goal is really to have your symptoms are 0 to 2 on a day-to-day basis. It's predictable. You have that confidence back going out to eat and traveling and spending time with friends and family, a really clear understanding of your personal triggers and able to actually manage this long term. It's not about quick fixes. It's about having this consistency, having the strategies in place for long term. Amazing. All right, so I'm going to open up Q&A. I know there's only a couple of people here live, so if you feel comfortable, you can unmute yourself. If you have questions for myself or for Kelly or around the program, then please feel free to ask them. If not, then that's also okay. We will finish up and I'll send out all the recording as well. Maddie?
Hi, I have a quick question about like specific timings. So with the accelerator program, can you join at any time or is there like a specific like intake throughout the year?
Yeah, so I do specific intakes based on how many people kind of graduating at a time. So I do have, as of for September, I have 5 spots opening up, and then my next availability will be November, which again, I probably will have a similar amount of hand spots.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that's okay. Christina or Laura, I think I saw someone unmute a second ago.
I have a question. What time is right now in Australia? I'm not in the US, I'm in Panama, so I wanted to see, because I'm concerned about the time of the meetings.
Sure, of course. What time is it for you right now?
7:30 p.m.
Yeah, okay. So we do have one of the calls at 10 a.m., which is at 7 p.m. your time. And then we do have another call time in the afternoon, but that would be early morning for yourself. So it would be a 7 p.m. call for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
In case that I have another condition like reflux, I don't know, you call it like that in English, can I still apply to the program, or
Yeah, of course. So
it has to be only IBS?
yeah, so the program itself is specifically designed for IBS. So that would be our main focus, but many other clients that I do see have other conditions like reflux, and a lot of the strategies will help with that as well. Christina,
I have another question.
Yeah, go.
About the shopping list and the menus. Since I don't live in the USA or in Australia,
Yeah.
how can I manage that? Because I don't know if here I can find the same products or ingredients.
Yeah, of course. So the recipes are not country specific. The recipes are just, recipes for across everywhere. The shopping guides are, they are for Australia, New Zealand, Australia and US, but they are, that's only one small factor of the program. I'm there basically to support you finding the right products. You'll have the full food list as well, which focuses on whole foods. So all your fruits and your vegetables, your whole grains, your dairy, that will be applicable to you. And then you can also, I'll be there to help you with the label reading. So if you do have, country food specifically from your country, then you can send photos through and help with label reading that way.
Thank you.
That's okay. All good. All right. Laura, I don't know if you wanted to say something there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just have sort of 2 questions.
Sure.
I've been recently diagnosed with IBS, so I have seen a specialist and she's kind of given me kind of a plan to go off the first, say, 2 months, and then I'm meeting back with her. But I just didn't know sort of with the timing, like, would you recommend that sort of I wait for the 2 months and then meet with her, or would it be a good time now to kind of join my dietitian? She kind of said like that she would give me this sort of different fiber supplements to kind of go off the first 2 months. And then she kind of talked about hypnotherapy or else working with a dietitian. So I don't know if I should jump into this sort of now or if I should wait. I suppose I'm probably being a little bit impatient, only like a week after, but I'm just sort of eager to know what you would advise.
Yeah, of course. Look, good question. And Kelly's probably a good person to input here as well, because Kelly was diagnosed and then joined within about the first month, didn't you, Kelly? Yeah. At the end of the day, it's really up to you. If you're like fed up with symptoms, you're motivated to change, then I wouldn't wait. I would just get straight into it.
Okay.
Whatever your specialist has recommended, like, we will discuss that more in our first one-to-one call, and we can use that and adapt that as well. And then kind of just go from there. So, if you're motivated to feel better, and especially like this time of year, like if you wait another 2 months, it's probably getting closer to Christmas somehow. So yeah, completely up to you in terms of start dates. I think I'm someone that's very much like, I'd rather just get in and get it done.
Okay, perfect. I just have one other question. Just with these, the first time we'd meet would be sort of the one-on-one consultation, and then the rest are some more group calls. So, how does that work in terms of like a personalized program? Like, is it just sort of meeting up just to kind of keep accountable every week? Or if I was at a different stage to someone else in the group call, like, how does that work?
Yeah, so the group calls are, I'm still checking in. It's very similar to this. There's usually a couple of people there. I check in with every single person to see how their week has been, what has improved, what they're struggling with, and then I provide advice to make sure you're moving through your own journey. Everyone is on very different stages, and everyone has very different journeys. So the advice that I give will be personalized to you. Like, I keep very detailed notes of what's going on, and like when you do the check-in form before the call, if you say, I've been struggling with X, Y, and Z, then I usually am there with a plan ready to go for the things that you're struggling with.
Okay, that's perfect. Thanks so much.
That's okay. Look, I'm going to just pop in the chat the link if anyone wants that. I'm also going to send it out with the replay afterwards. Maddie, I just saw your comment in the chat. That's totally fine. Amazing. All right, that is not pasting. Okay, I'm going to send it out with the replay. So I'm going to send out the link with the replay. If you do want to join, that fast action bonus is, so it expires on Sunday night or Monday morning. So if you do want to join, you will save with the early bird discount and save $500. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to send me a direct message on Instagram. We can chat it through in a little bit more detail. Thanks everyone for coming along. Kelly, thank you so much for giving up your evening to come along as well. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.